Hello, friends. Nicholas here with DIVO-Ted Talks, Devoted Talks, where we take ancient wisdom and practices through a modern lens and experience so that you can end suffering for your personal self and the greater self and friends and family all alike. That was terrible. I totally messed it up. You know what? I'm not going to re-record it. I am going to just keep going. So anyway, end suffering, yada, 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 in that vein, all that jazz, yada, yada, yada. So anyway, oh man. Sorry about the noise. I'm trying to move this cord out of the way. I'm kind of all over the place. And I'll be honest, like life has gotten really choppy. I was starting to get my feet underneath of me. And, even though I wasn't like really like nailing every day, I was getting better each and every week. And I was getting better at seeing limitations and really figuring out this business. And now just I got in that car accident and everything's just all over the place. And it's not just the fact that I'm getting phone calls and I have to handle this and I have to handle that and doctor's appointments. It's the emotional, like I don't understand things the way they're happening through the same lens because I have had some kind of trauma happen, right? And so those traumas start to color our experiences. So there's emotions that will arise from the layers of colors that are built up over this time since the experience, right? So I was startled and I was scared. And so that's Vata-y, right? And then there's a Pitta side to it where it's like, oh, why did they do that to me? Why did they have to do this? Oh, I can just push through and make it happen. And then there's a Kapha side who's like, ugh, just stop already, right? What does it matter anyway, right? So I have a lot of the different doshas acting up and in different ways, and each of those color my experiences that are happening. Like I had my car engine malfunction, and then I'm like, am I able to still drive this? Is this okay to keep the loaner even though lights are coming on? Like I don't know. So it's just all these extra steps that wouldn't have been here had I either been 10 seconds earlier or 10 seconds later and not had that car accident in the first place. It clearly was for whatever purpose it was, but that doesn't change for me that experiences are being colored by it. That it doesn't change it for me that these things are still impacted by the impact of that car running into the side of me. And I know it seems like, well, it's been so long and you could get over it. And that's true. I could, but I have emotions and I have thoughts and feelings, again, that are colored by that. And for them to work their way out, they need to be expressed. There's nothing worse, I think, in life than people trying to encourage people to be over something when they're not over it, instead of giving them the support to help them get over it. Maybe the support is giving counter arguments, but maybe it's not. Maybe it's saying, I totally get that, honey. Come here. Let's give you a hug. Let's get you feeling cared for when it feels completely different when somebody runs into the side of you with their vehicle, right? Like, right, each person has their individual love language, but it's so much more than that. It is the fact that we are biological systems that react to its environment, to our environment. And so a startling, unexpected, intense experience like that has waves and effects throughout our body. Like even that hurt my shoulder doing that, but it has waves that radiate out from that moment that will keep, you know, keep making the water choppy. Just like when you drop a single rock into a still lake, you see the concentric circles expanding and getting bigger, which is very similar to the Devo symbol, right? There's two concentric circles that if the inner isn't together, the outer cannot connect and combine, such as it were. And so in a similar fashion, these experiences are pushing things out and about, and it is our practices, regular and consistent, that help bring that back together. Because even though the outside was disturbed, the inside is not, right? The inside still has to go through the layer or the medium of the outside. However, the inside is still unaffected. Like I didn't die and I'm not incapacitated. So my inner light of awareness, the thing that I've carried with me since the first time I became aware of I am, is still with me. And thankfully I wasn't incapacitated in any significant way. Thankfully, the woman that ran into me wasn't incapacitated or, you know, lethally harmed by the incident. but it doesn't change that it happened and that there are these ripples that continue to happen. And those ripples will bounce against the edges of my reality, my beliefs, and start to come back. And so then I might even have choppier waves because they're bumping into each other, and or I could even have greater peaks and valleys because the way they might sync up and create an extra long or an extra tall wave with an extra steep valley underneath. That can happen as well. And so being able to have my feet underneath of me through yoga, Ayurveda, and a consistent practice is what we are called to do, so that we're able to surf it, so that we don't lose our heads, so that we don't lose our cool, so we don't lose ourselves in something that can be an instigator of losing yourself. Not because there's anything wrong with you, but because it's traumatic, right? My body is traumatized. My psyche is traumatized. And it will take a little bit of time for it to regulate, right? I thought all my adrenaline was gone, but it took close to a week or more. Like, I'm just now starting to feel a little bit more myself. That the adrenaline fully left. So if the adrenaline is still in there and affecting the system, you know, it's unpredictable, right? I could be as consistent as possible up until that day, and it's just going to take as long as it takes for the process to happen. But again, a consistent practice, regular and disciplined, helps things get back to their regulated state much more quickly, especially when it comes to breathing and sitting still, especially after a traumatic, dynamic experience or event or incident. So what does this mean for you? It means that stay the course. Things are going to happen. Some are minimal and some are intense, and some have minimal effects while being intense. Like for me, I had minimal damage, all things considered. My car was damaged $24,000 plus dollars, but, and it only cost like 29,000 way back in the day. But like my body, other than my shoulder being somewhat damaged from the impact, is pretty good. Like I could have rolled and been cut up. My water bottle, those of you on YouTube, look at it. It's like a different shape now. Like if that had hit my head, or if it was that much force to bend the metal like that when it collided with whatever part of the car it collided with, that could have happened to me as well. And so coming to terms with that fact, it could have been way worse, and everything was intense and had the potential to be, but it wasn't. So I can accept, and I'm working hard on that, that life sometimes is directing us through the path of least resistance to our greatest manifestations. And so my path of least resistance was this intense car accident that left me with minimal damage considering the details. And I can sit in that, and I can accept that, and I can own that most of the time. Some days it's a little bit more challenging, but in all of it, I am gaining, relationship with self, and I'm gaining that understanding that all's well that ends well. And that as long as we follow the laws and we follow the rules of engagement, right? The rule of law, such as it is, we can get by, or, do well to get by. I don't know what the phrase is. That's terrible. Go on to get on. I don't know. I feel like there's some Southernism down here that would get that. My favorite Southernism is finer than frog hair. I'm finer than frog hair. I hope you are. Anyway, to sum this all up and wrap it in a nice, pretty bow, things happen, and some are devastating, and some can be devastating without a lot of trouble, in some aspects, and others very challenging. And you just get what you get out of it, right? It's a roll of the dice. The ancients used to call it the great mystery, Maya, the illusion. So I have a belief system that allows me to trust and have faith that this was meant to be as it was for something I don't understand yet. Now, if you don't have that in your life, I could understand where this would just be like, why, and it could be devastating in a very deep, central way. For me, it's not, because I have the faith that it was meant to be this way for a specific reason. And I can reside in that, and that aligns with my worldview. And if you're not there, reach out. Let's talk. I get it. I mean, I get it. I've always been this way. My family says I fall in shit and come up smelling like a rose every time. And it's part of my belief system that that's going to happen. I don't know if I'm making it happen or that it is the case and I'm just identifying it. Does it matter? Right? It's just the way it is. So if you're one of those people who feels like life is always on your case and like getting you down, maybe it's because of your belief system that it continues to recapitulate that so that you can choose differently at some point. I love a good reframe, but the lessons come as they come and they are highly individualized. So my friends, only you can know you at the deepest level in this physical plane as you are. You know everything about yourself for the most part, except for the things you're hiding from yourself. Nobody else can do that. Now, if you believe in God or higher beings, they may be able to know you in ways that exceed, yourself. But that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about things are going to take the amount of time and energy that they take. And sometimes it's going to be different than what we think. And so being okay with who you are and being okay with the things that need to take what they need to take and understanding that it may be different than what you believe and to accept that and go with the flow so that you're not tearing yourself apart trying to make things happen that are not meant to happen. All right, friends, be well, be free.